Donald Trump could get subpoenaed, and he's not immune from criminal charges. That's the bracing new message today from the Fulton County prosecutor, Fani Willis, leading the criminal investigation into Trump and his allies' attempt to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia. Willis making those comments in an exclusive interview with NBC's own Blaine Alexander.
Could we expect to possibly see additional subpoenas from people in former President Trump's inner circle, former Trump associates?
Yes.
Are we talking about family members? Are we talking about former White House officials?
I mean, we'll just have to see where the investigation leads us.
Might we see a subpoena of the former president himself?
Anything is possible.
So we're not ruling it out. It is possible to.
Absolutely.
Willis saying more subpoenas could be hitting Trump's inner circle and Trump himself. Just a day after she subpoenaed Rudy Giuliani, coup mastermind John Eastman, Trump lawyer Jenna Ellis, and GOP Senator Lindsey Graham, amongst others. Graham responding, he'll challenge the subpoena, calling the probe, quote, all politics. Willis saying today, if anyone committed a crime, including the former president, she will bring charges. Shocker.
People also seem to think that in society that there are certain people that are immune from prosecution. If you are a celebrity, if you are a high-ranking public official, Lady Justice is actually blind. This is the reality. If you come into my community and you commit a crime, you deserve to be held responsible. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care the status you've reached. I don't care who you care to love. And so Lady Justice here is blind. If he committed a crime in my jurisdiction, then it includes him.
Joining me now is Justice Correspondent and Lewis Black of Politics, Ellie Mistal from The Nation. Ellie, I have to start with this. For a year now, we've basically heard Merrick Garland and DOJ say, we've got to be careful, we've got to be sure we're not political. And then we have this local prosecutor basically doing the usher me, watch this, we're going, watch this, we're going straight after this guy, we don't care. Why is a local prosecutor so much more aggressive and open about holding the former president of the United States accountable than the Department of Justice? Like I heard more fire and bravery and commitment to the Democratic project in this short interview with our reporter Blaine Alexander than I've ever heard from the DOJ in the last 18 months.
Yeah, that was bracing. That was refreshing. She said the words, if you commit a crime in my jurisdiction, Lady Justice is blind. She doesn't care about your race. She doesn't care about your gender. She's going to prosecute crime. What an idea. Wouldn't it be amazing if we appointed an attorney general who believed the same things? Because clearly we haven't. Look, and just to be clear, it's not that Fani Willis is saying that she's blind to all of the stuff going around. She said in that same interview that she might well suspend her investigation after voting starts in the midterm and pick it back up after the midterm elections to create a zone of, to avoid even the mere appearance of impropriety. But look at how she's defining the appearance of impropriety when voting starts, as opposed to Merrick Garland, who apparently defines it as his entire term in office at this point. So I think Willis is doing exactly the right thing. And I don't know where that investigation goes. I do know this. I'm going to date myself a little bit, Jason. I'm a little bit older than you. I remember the old television show Columbo. And if you remember Columbo, right? If you remember Columbo, that show starts with the crime being shown to the viewers. Everybody sees what happened. Everybody sees who did it. And then the whole rest of the show is Peter Falk trying to figure it out and then trying to convince everybody else of what we already know what happened. Donald Trump called Raffensperger and committed election fraud, and we've all heard the tape. We've all seen the crime. It happened right in front of our eyes. And so what Fani Willis is doing is that Columbo, Peter Falk, slow walk. She's coming. She saw what we saw, but not everybody else has seen it. And so she's going to do what it takes to prove what we all saw actually happen.
That's the amazing part. And I have to say this because I think this is key. When you see that the former president has already sort of committed these crimes, and it seems to take forever for people to get to this point, you're now in this discussion of the political elites are, okay, well, how's he going to get out of this? Can he do anything one way or another? We have these stories coming out now that former President Trump, also probably because he's afraid of DeSantis, who's a slightly better fascist in training than him, is saying, hey, I'm going to announce that I'm running for president, and that will somehow inoculate me from prosecution. We talked about this briefly in the last second. Does that even make a difference? I mean, does announcing that you're running for president really have any impact one way or another? Will that lead to Merrick Garland saying, well, okay, I'm sorry, he basically has an immunity totem, so I can't do anything to him until 2024? Or does it have any actual material legal defense once you say I'm running for president? Because if that's the case, every time I want to rob a bank, I'll just say I'm running for mayor.
Yeah, no, it has no material legal effect. It's not a law. It's not a rule. It's not a statute. But what we're fighting over is the same thing we've been fighting over since January 20th, 2021, and that is the 1 foot of square space in Merrick Garland's head. And if Merrick Garland decides that Trump running for president, you said it exactly right, gives him an immunity token. Oh, he's too powerful now. Oh, no. Then that's why he might do it. This is why having a weak AG is such a problem. Donald Trump is playing a game counting on Merrick Garland to be a weak person who does not have what it takes to go get him. And he thinks that making it even a little bit mentally harder, not legally harder, not jurisdictionally harder, but mentally harder for Merrick Garland can do it, will break him. Because that's how weak Trump thinks Merrick Garland. That's how weak I think Merrick Garland is. That's how weak Trump thinks Merrick Garland is.
I want to play you some very, very quick sound from someone who is not going to be weak. We have a candidate running for attorney general in Georgia. Quick sound from her last night. What's your thoughts on the other side of the sound?
It was surreal. You know, you walk in and there's Rudy Giuliani. I think what it was really about was providing what they believe to be some kind of legitimate basis for the legislature to go into special session and basically throw out the slate of electors that have been chosen by the voters of Georgia. I'm literally Googling who is John Eastman when he pops up. He purported to be giving expert testimony, on the Georgia Constitution and Georgia law, and the man isn't even a Georgia lawyer.
We have State Senator Jordan. We have a local prosecutor. Do you think Georgia might be the best place right now to see any justice brought against this previous administration for attempting to overturn the election?
I mean, look, I'm a New Yorker, so I'm going to ride or die my state. Tish James, yo. But yeah, look, both of these states, I think, are the best chances. Both of these states have state jurisdiction over various aspects of Trump's criminal empire. Georgia has, I think, the most easiest case to make because, again, Trump is already on tape committing the election fraud. But remember that so much of this goes to Trump's state of mind. We have to be able to prove that Trump not only committed the election fraud that we heard him do on the phone, but that he knew he was committing election fraud when he was doing it. And his defense has always been, I had the John Eastmans, the Jenna Ellis, the farting man, whoever, to tell me. But I've said on this program in the past, like going and finding a wino on the street who says, yeah, you the president now, does not mean you're taking reasonable legal advice. And that's basically the role that Giuliani is in, the wino off the street. And so as long as you can show that Giuliani and Ellis and Eastman were completely out to lunch, that does not protect Trump from criminal liability. And again, I think that when you look at those subpoenas, that's what Fani Willis is looking for. Look, Lindsey Graham, for instance, who's all like, I'm going to fight the subpoena. It's his right to fight it. It's not his right to ignore it, but it's his right to fight it. But remember, people are trying to give Lindsey Graham a chance to explain himself because he's also wrapped up in this mess. He also called Raffensperger. Raffensperger also said that Lindsey Graham told him to throw out some votes. So Lindsey Graham can come in and explain himself, or maybe he catches an indictment too.
Elie Mystal, as per the usual, the Louis Black of politics writer at The Nation. Thank you much for joining us on The Beat tonight.